It is time for back to school for some students at private schools. That means it's time to actually head back to the classroom.
For students at CCSD, they'll be distance learning online in 2 weeks' time. And for others in charter and other private schools, it will be a blend of both. Thank you for joining us for this back to school special. I'm Kirsten Joyce.
And I'm Brian Loftus. Good evening. We know you have a lot of questions, so for the next half hour, we'll be giving you answers that have been figured out and telling you what you need to know in order to get ready for all of it. For CCSD, school starts on August 24th. Students will be starting the school year entirely through distance education. The school district put information about that in a back to school family guide. Kate Houston breaks down how it can help you prepare for the upcoming year.
This 28-page document lays out how CCSD will move forward with full-time distance learning. It goes over everything from access to technology, meal distribution, and the responsibilities of families and teachers.
The digital guide is meant to be a one-stop resource for the 320,000 students in the district. When it comes to scheduling, there will be time allocated for synchronous or real-time learning and asynchronous or independent learning. Schedules and weekly instructional guides will be provided to families by their school.
And that's, I think, the biggest shift for teachers now, because we weren't really sure how our lessons were going to look. But now we know that we're going to have time where we need to actually be giving a live lesson to our students.
The guide references how the district will offer access and resources to students with disabilities and English language learners. Melissa Ruiz's 8-year-old son has an IEP. She wishes the district went into more detail on their plan.
I think they did rush it a little bit. They need to be more precise on how it's going to work doing the virtual learning. A lot of kids, they do need that extra hands-on with the teacher.
One major challenge the district is facing is how to give every child access to the internet and a device. CCSD is trying to acquire 76,000 Chromebooks by fall. The guide states that schools are reaching out to families directly to assess their needs. With all of these changes, the district is offering parents academic and emotional training opportunities. Those will be available in live sessions and pre-recorded content. Kate Houston, 8 News Now.
The chief academic officer for CCSD will be joining us live later in this show, and we will ask her to really zero in on the plan for those IEPs and English language learner students. Kirsten?
And as you just heard, Brian, the school district has ordered some 76,000 Chromebooks by the fall. As of right now, the district has not said exactly how many of those it has received. Now, schools are handing them out as they get them. We caught up with staff at Spring Valley High School, where about 1,000 were needed there. If your child needs one, you've been asked to fill out a survey. Go to the Maine School District website where it inquires about technology and if you need help with internet access. Also, remember to update your contact information on the Infinite campus. Now, once those students get Chromebooks, they'll have to get online, and the school district will consider purchasing discounted Cox Connect internet for about 20,000 students. They'll be talking about that during the board meeting this week. CCSD's Back to School website also has a list of businesses supplying hotspots. And as for those Wi-Fi buses the district used at the end of last year, they may be deployed on an as-needed basis. Brian.
About 2/3 of the students in CCSD get free or reduced breakfast and lunch. For many, it's really the only way they'll get a meal during the day. Here is CCSD's plan. Food will be handed out at more than 300 sites district-wide starting August 24th. The meal pickup times will be staggered, with elementary first, then middle school, then high school. Parents picking up food should have the student ID, their grade, and what school they attend. They will pick up breakfast and lunch at the same time. Now, CCSD says they are still figuring out how transportation options will work for students who need the food dropped off. They say that information will go out via Parent Link when finalized. CCSD also applied for a waiver that would allow all students to receive free and reduced lunches. They are still waiting to hear back from the federal government on if that was approved. Well, with all the uncertainty about how the school year will play out, you might be wondering what's going to happen with traffic right around those school zones. Will there be or won't there be flashing lights? Our traffic anchor Nate Tannenbaum has the answers.
Well, like everything else these days, it's complicated. First, we have to wait to see if or when on-site classroom learning resumes. If when that happens, we all should know what the deal is, even if we might be a little out of practice. Whether it's 15 miles an hour, 20 or 25 when those lights are flashing, that's your speed limit. Lives are at stake, and the contents of your wallet might be as well from hefty fines. So even when schools were closed in the final months of the last school year, some campuses sometimes kept their lights flashing. It was all about which schools were being used as food distribution sites. And you might expect that at least at the start of the 2021 school year. Stay tuned. Now here's something you may not know about who controls those flashing lights. It's not the Regional Transportation Commission, and it's not exactly the school district itself, as we mentioned in a What's Driving You Crazy story back in May. Each local entity controls the school flashers in their jurisdictions. In other words, if a school's in Henderson, flashing lights are controlled by Henderson. Same for North Las Vegas and for Las Vegas. In other words, there is no one entity that controls the flashers for all schools in the school district. How about that? So to learn which campuses are food distribution sites and may have flashing lights now, we've got a link to not only the sites, but also their menus. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Nate. We put all that info in our back to school section. It's over on 8newsnow.com.
Well, some students will physically return to the classroom. Up next in our back to school special, we'll look at the rules and precautions being taken at various private and charter schools. Plus, what will school athletics look like this year, if there are any? We take a look at how football and basketball teams are expected to play out the remainder of this year.